Nunchucks are great weapons, and I can prove it. Thanks to this video by our favorite sword-loving author from around 2 years ago, the popular opinion has been online that nunchucks suck. But Shad, and literally everyone else online, ignores one giant fact about nunchucks that completely obliterates all criticisms people have of them, and also solidifies it as one of the greatest weapons ever invented. And that giant fact is, nunchucks were designed to be concealed carry weapons. But before I get too deep into the video, why exactly am I talking about nunchucks on a channel about Filipino culture and fantasy? Well, that's because, contrary to popular belief, the modern incarnation of nunchucks featured in pop culture, movies, television, and yes, even fantasy RPGs, isn't Okinawan, it isn't Japanese, and it isn't even Chinese. It's Filipino. Don't believe me? Take a look at this. This is a video of Dan Inosanto demonstrating the uses of nunchucks in the street from a concealed carry position. Now, who is Dan Inosanto? Well, he, much like myself, is a Filipino army veteran, as well as an escrimador and Kali practitioner, and one of Bruce Lee's closest friends and students. In fact, he is the reason why Bruce learned about the nunchucks and even incorporated them into his movies. The nunchuck is called tabaktoyok in the Tagalog dialect, and it was invented by Filipino escrimadors and Kali practitioners during the time of Spanish colonial rule. The tabaktoyok was created during a time where the open carrying of blades was restricted, the open carry of sticks essentially meant that you were looking for trouble, and carrying a knife for self-protection essentially boiled down to you catching a murder charge by the Spanish government. Now, if you were a stick fighter and were placed under these same conditions and restrictions, what would you do? If you answered you would find a way to make a stick that you could conceal, congratulations, you came up with the exact same answer ancient Filipinos did. This would manifest itself in Filipinos taking their sticks and cutting them in half and binding them together with string or cordage in order to have a weapon on themselves at all times. Its design would allow them to have the same range that they had with their regular sticks, while allowing them to still practice the same striking patterns they'd been training in, albeit with a few slight alterations to their follow-through. It would also give them enough impact in order to save their lives and get away from a dangerous situation. Now, when you take these factors into account around the context in which the nunchuck was created, the criticisms that we commonly hear, mainly that the nunchuck is a danger to the user in terms of hitting themselves, it is less predictable after the point of impact and therefore rougher to handle, and 3 is less effective and delivers less force than a stick of the same size, are all mitigated. Now, let me give you an example to solidify my point here. So, this is my everyday concealed carry. This is my 9mm. Now, if I am going to use this as my everyday concealed carry, there are a couple factors that I need to keep in mind. Number 1, it is far more dangerous for me to carry this as compared to a carbine or rifle. I am far more likely to end up injuring myself via negligent discharge if I carry this incorrectly or even handle it incorrectly. And even if I do handle it with all the proper safety precautions, there's still a risk that it will misfire and cause me harm. Number 2, it is inherently harder to wield compared to a carbine or rifle because it doesn't have a foregrip and it doesn't have a buttstock that aid in stabilizing it in my hand for follow-up shots. And number 3, it is far less effective and damaging compared with a carbine or rifle. This is especially evident considering its reduced accuracy and stability, meaning that if I put 5 shots downrange with this and then compare it to a rifle, I am far more likely to hit my target every time with my rifle. This is less effective when compared to a rifle. However, despite these detriments, no one in their right mind would argue that this 9mm sucks and is a garbage weapon solely based on the merits of comparing it against a rifle or carbine. And that is because This wasn't designed in order to maximize safety, handling, or damage output. It was only designed in order for me to be able to conceal it and pull it out in order to use the techniques that I'm already trained in order to save my own life in an emergency situation. And because it fulfills those criteria in which it was designed for and has been proven effective in that context, it is a great weapon. And if that's true for the 9mm, then you also have to draw the same conclusion for the nunchucks. They're able to be concealed. They handle in the same manner as you train for with a stick. And although they have less damage, they're still damaging enough in order to save your life and get you out of a bad situation. The nunchuck is a great weapon, and I just proved it. Thank you for watching the video. I have been dying to talk about this for the past 2 years. If you liked what I had to say, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. And let me know what you thought in the comments below. Did you agree with my assessment, or do you still think that Shad is right? He's not. And let me know if you'd like for me to go over the history of the nunchuck, from its humble origins in the Philippines to how it arrived in martial arts movies and then permeated into McDojos everywhere. But until next time, this is Marshall, signing off.